when they started talking about fighting, because you know how Joe gets.
Just tries to take over.
Well, and he was trying to explain the controversy with the UFC and gambling, and I just found he became really curt with her. Like he was like, "Stop and listen to what I'm saying. Let me finish." Because she just kept being like, "Oh, so then they'd bet on him," and he was like, "No, that's not it." And she was like, "Oh, so they bet on the other guy," and he was like, "No, that's not it either."
Well, and he brought it up.
Yeah.
So she should be allowed, as a journalist, just to be curious.
But Simon and I were saying too, it's interesting that Joe is like, man, I had like an 85% win rate betting on the UFC early. But then I just felt like kind of bad about it. So we stopped. Me and my buddy Chris, who's actually named Aubrey.
That story doesn't, it sounds like
it doesn't check out.
Just admission of maybe doing something that I should have done. But
listen,
we were young.
I'll say this. If you are an insider, you should have an 84% win rate. So I don't really know if I have a problem with it. He's taking money from the book, right? Like
he's not taking money from the UFC.
He's not taking money from the UFC or you, a taxpayer. He's the only person Joe is hurting in this is the book, and I have no problem with that. Our job as the public is to bleed these cocksuckers dry, and we fail year in and year out, because the odds are stacked against us. But my point still remains, like, it's interesting hearing Joe be like, yeah, we had an 84. No one with an 84% win rate stops.
Well, and if you're like a guy who works for ESPN, let's say,
yeah,
a sports analyst,
yeah,
for like football or something,
yeah,
are you not allowed to bet on sports? No, you'd be the best bettor. And not only that, you give advice on betting on sport. You know what I mean?
See, those guys have the biggest unfair advantage, though, because, like, think about a day like the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Shannon Sharp could call Jalen Hurts yesterday. Jalen, how you feeling?
Yeah.
How that leg? Your leg good? Ankle good? Your shoulder feeling? Oh, shoulder nice. Okay. What, you got laid last night? Ooh, titty bar. How late with you at the titty bar? Oh, till 3 a.m. Okay. All right, Patrick Mahomes is a good old homeboy. I'm by. You know what I mean? Like,
so yeah. So I'm sure that happens then, right? Like, isn't that?
Listen, if I had those ins, I would take them. My point still remains.
Are those guys allowed to bet?
So when you sign up for any gambling website, you say that you don't have connection with, like, you're not affiliated. I can't remember what all the affiliations are, but it's a good question. It's probably a real gray area.
You don't know because you didn't read the contract you signed, but that's okay. None of us.
Hold on. I also know that I clearly don't have any affiliations like that, so I just hit, I'm good.
Yeah, gotcha.
I will say, though, Bet365, I don't trust these cocksuckers one bit. 3 cash outs I've had where I've been like, where's my money? And they're like, oh, we sent it. We emailed it. Did you not get it? I'm like, no, I did not. And they're like, oh, did you check your spam folder? I'm like, listen, you cocksuckers. And then they're like, okay, well, it'll take 7 days, and then it'll go back in your gambling account. And then if you want to pull it out again, you can feel free. But they're like, why don't you gamble? You know what I mean? Like, that to me is shady business. Shady fucking business.
You sound like an abused spouse.
That's like in Casino where they
stop pulling money out.
Why do you stop?
He pays the guy to hijack the dude's plane, so he has to stick around and he loses all the money back. The whale.
That's what I'm saying.
You're that whale.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Is that in Get Shorty? No, that's something else.
Casino.
Casino.
Yes.
Yeah, like
you know, I started that sentence with, in the movie Casino.
Well, no, I'm trying to. Sorry.
Like, Simon, this is my thing.
I'm just joking.
This is my thing. I used to use Bodog, which was like it's not regulated, and they have a shitty policy where you can only cash out once every 7 days, which is in and of itself pretty gross. But they at least say it up front. These guys are regulated by the AGCO. The AGCO should be on these fucking cunts. Like, if you're gonna, is everything all right? Oh, okay. Just checking. Are you okay, Kumar? Keep going.
I'm sorry about your woes with your gambling site, which you're going to continue with.
Why? I use like 8 of them.
Oh, okay. And I'm sure they all have weird shit like that. We fighting, concussions, Schaub, and then she
Whoa, hold on. Fighting, concussions,
all the
Schaub.
crazy fighting, like the irresponsible. Joe was talking about more head injuries,
and then they talked about Brendan.
I don't think he said his name for this purpose, but everyone knew. And he also talked about Meldrick, the boxer, and he turned into Pootie Tang. Like, they just show the one clip of him talking normal, and and that should have been the backstory of Pootie Tang. Great movie. Go and watch it if you haven't.
Louis C.K. wrote it.
And Louis C.K. wrote it. The rake is illegal.
like raking somebody's eyes?
No.
Matt can have a poker night here all night.
Oh, but as soon as you take a rake.
Once you charge a rake, you have broken the law.
Yeah.
So it's such a weird.
You just sell $20 beers, or I don't know.
No, that's also illegal.
Yeah, of course. Damn, they
You
figured
don't
me
have
out.
a license to sell alcohol.
They're always 2 steps ahead.
But Kamar, like think about it. Like
But people pay you like a house fee or whatever.
I'm pretty sure
That's
it's also illegal.
That's
but-
what's illegal.
Well, actually, I don't know. A house fee is different because if it's a one-time flat rate, you could argue like it's like a membership or an entry.
No, it's a deposit for damages, possibly incurred, and this you roughed up the carpet. We'll just have to vacuum that. $50.
Because like I wonder, like could you throw a tournament where there's no rake, but like there's a
$1,000 in the pot, but only $900 awarded. The simplest way.
well, you do like 1,000 plus 50, right? And the 50 is to pay for the dealers or something. I don't know. That's a good question because I know the rake is illegal. I
The
know that.
rake is illegal.
Have you seen Molly's Game?
That was my next note, Matt. Which no, that's not the movie.
Oh,
game.
it's not okay.
'Cause
My
I did
bad.
not talk about it, but I'm just saying. I was about to say, did you see Molly's Game? Because that's based on a true story of Hollywood elites.
You
Molly's
know
Game
who
was
they
great.
were?
You
You know-
told me, yeah.
I did. tell
Toby
you.
Maguire
And Leo.
and Jason Alexander.
Jason Alexander. I don't know. It wasn't Jason Alexander.
Yeah, so it was an amalgam. The asshole was like an amalgam of Leo, Toby, and Jason Alexander.
Jason Alexander from Seinfeld didn't hang out with.
Dude, he played tons of poker. Are you don't do this?
IMDb. Oh no, it's not going to be there.
I'm going
take more
to
research. Take
he
more
mi-
research.
He might have done poker. I don't know. That guy was. He wasn't part of that. It was another like young dude.
There was tons of famous people there.
I'm
Yes.
telling you though, but the three.
You need
okay.
interview
Yeah,
of
I'm
the
gonna
person
fi- I'm
saying,
gonna find
yeah,
it
I
for
played
you.
in Molly's Game, or yeah, that thing that was based on me, I played those.
Either way,
You guys remember Kevin Trudeau?
no.
So we were raised on infomercials because I don't know, say till I was 12 or 11, TV ended at midnight.
Yeah,
They
we just go to the
they played
bars.
National Anthem and the bars.
Yeah, for just 6 hours.
Or
Yeah, the
complete
static. Yeah,
snow. And then at 6 a.m, they'd fire back up, and entertainment
what a weird
and
thought,
joy
huh?
was there. And then that time got filled up with infomercials, things that seemed like shows that were a half hour, but the whole thing was just a
yeah,
they
selling
even
your
pretended
product.
a talk show.
Yeah.
but just and then I don't even know what the first maybe cable was on.
It's crazy though, Kamar, now that you mentioned it, like think about the fact that no one at a cable network was ever like, why don't we just play 6 hours of something we played earlier and run ads?
Well, I guess CNN invented that. That's the
Actually, you know what
first
it
time I
probably
saw that.
was? It was probably ads. They probably went to advertising companies and said, listen, we're gonna run the same shows we ran during the day at night. And they were probably like, no one's up past 9 watching television.
It would have been somehow cable first.
Okay.
Cable, like NBC, CB. I think I only had like 8 channels till I was like 10 or 12.
Dude, I remember the day I got home from school and there was 30 channels. I was like, what the
Well,
fuck
no,
is happening?
there was people I knew had those converters, and that was like, you know, people be sick of you hanging around there because it's cable. But
Well, like I said, my dad had the black box growing up. So every second weekend, I had like every pay-per-view movie on loop.
now that you can just program your programming of what you watch and what you see 24 hours a day, every single song. We'll get into the next one. The Darien Gap, that was a weird thing
He
they
just
talked
shakes
about.
his head.
It's Leo, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, and Toby Maguire. Those were the guys.
Oh, Jason Alexander.
No, Jason Alexander. Sometimes they mention Pete Sampras and A-Rod, but not
Okay.
not Jason Alexander.
Fine.
So fine.
Whatever, Simon.
Fine.
Casinos have no windows. That's always interesting. Like,
Well, they don't want you to know what time it is.
or just hope.
And how many times have you been in gambling and come out and it being a different, like,
Oh, so many.
you know, it's either day or night, and you're like, oh, fuck.
It's the worst.